charge a flat rate. The rationale being that in order to attract business in San Diego, we wanted to make the water cheap for them. The more they use, basically it's inverted, the more they use, the less they pay. That was the original idea. So we really need to look at the water structures for commercial, industrial, and ag, as well as residentials, and provide incentives for people to use less and to reward them when they do. We'll talk about some of these others as we go. We need to think as a community, think about how we're using water. It's not an unlimited resource. When you go out with Junior to wash the car, you need to make sure you have a nozzle on the hose and that you only use the minimum amount of water necessary to wash that car and hose down Junior. Pool covers, hosing sidewalks, lawn watering, all these things. Lawn watering especially is probably going to be a thing of the past in our lifetime. We can't afford to be pouring potable water on the ground. That's crazy. Also, as a community, we need to kind of look at our neighbors. If a neighbor is letting their sprinkler run too long, and it's running across the sidewalk into the gutter and down into the creek, well, maybe we need to go knock on the door and say, can I help you adjust your timer? Your sprinkler timer's not working, right? Or if you don't want to do that, just call the water department and think on it. But one way or another, someone needs to let them know within the community that they're using too much water. Another notion, as I mentioned, 20% of the energy we use is for moving water. We also use energy to heat water and to pump it, to run our swimming pools and things like that. So we need to form alliances with the utility companies, San Diego Gas and Electric, for example. We need to look at going around door to door in our communities and talking to people about the equipment they have in their homes and about retrofitting them. There are a lot of organizations. One notable one is called Mothers of East Los Angeles that focuses on retrofitting water appliances in homes in underserved communities in Los Angeles. Renters, for example, they're paying the water bill, but they can't afford to buy a new toilet, even though they have a 5-gallon toilet. So Mothers of East LA partners with the energy company and the Metropolitan Water District to make those toilets available at no cost, and they install them. So that's an example of how the community can really respond. Water angels. This term came about from water police who see there in the boat. The guardian angels that guard the subways in many of the major cities in the world. Charlie's Angels, you all know. Well, maybe you don't know Charlie's Angels. That was a TV show back when I was a kid. They were cops, but they were really nice cops, you know. And then we have the Coronado Volunteer Patrol, or the RSVP. You've probably seen the white police cruisers with RSVP on the side, retired seniors volunteer patrols. These and many other organizations, Boy Scouts, skateboarding clubs, in our communities could be empowered to work like the Mothers of East LA to talk to people who are watering their lawns too much or need some help with their equipment. Another proposal that we're advocating is the establishment of water courts in our communities. A number of communities in the United States have them. Colorado, for example, water use and diversions and groundwater extraction is all determined through an independent court system. We envision having a court system that also hears cases of homeowners that are wasting water, that are turned in by the water police or the water angels. These water courts would be public affairs, sort of like Judge Judy, you know, you're watching on community access television. The judge then would say, this is what you need to do. Until you do it, we're going to put you on a little bit of a higher rate, the water waste rate, and then 6 months from now, we'll have a water angel visit you, and then we'll bump you down to the standard. Or if you're really doing well and you've replaced all your appliances and you put a drip system in your yard, we'll put you on the water wisest rate, which is a lower tiered rate billing structure. The other thing that the judge could do is send them to what we call a water academy, which is similar to traffic, like a traffic school. The judge, as you know, how many of you have ever, well, don't answer that question. Some of us have been before judges. I've seen judges. How many of you have seen a judge in action? They have a lot of latitude. They issue the sentence, right? So that it could be a slap on the hand, it could be a change in rates, it could be send you to the school, it could be, here, read this book and don't do it again, whatever. Water Waster Academy would be for maybe a repeat violator, would be sent to a school essentially, where they would learn a lot of the stuff I'm telling you today about the demand we were placing on our water infrastructure, and some of the things they can do to reduce their own demand for water in their community, in their home. And they get a little sticker to put on their window at their house saying they're a graduate of the Water Academy, and their neighbors would be proud of them, and they would come to them for answers to their questions, and then it would just start moving through the community. So, water stores is another suggestion that we have. Why not take the big box department stores like Walmart's and Target's and the Home Depots and put a section in there specifically for water conserving appliances, low flush toilets, water conserving taps, hot water circulating pumps, maybe pool covers, everything that's related to water conservation in one place at Home Depot. So you go to that spot and there's an expert there that can answer your questions. Why not do that? This is something that we think that the water agencies should be doing. They should be partnering with Home Depot and Walmart and Target to set these sorts of things up. Also, the fees that are extracted from those multiple tiers, the water waster rates that people are paying, which are above the standard rates, those surplus funds would go to support these stores, because there would be costs associated with setting them up and running them. But we really need to make it easier for people to learn about water conservation and to make a difference in their own home. Prescriptive measures, meaning basically regulations. People should be required to use water pool covers on their pools. Building codes should be adapted to conform to green building standards. The Green Industry Council, the Green Building Council. How many of you are familiar with the Green Building Council in the Business Association? LEED is the Leadership in Energy Efficient Design. More and more we're starting to hear about buildings that are built to LEED, platinum, and gold, and silver standards. These are really energy efficient buildings. That should be built into the codes within the cities. The city of Chula Vista just established a green building ordinance for the city, so that all new construction has to conform to green building codes and LEED standards. So that's the sort of thing that we need to see. How many of you have heard of integrated potable reuse, IPR? Okay. On 805, as you go north, on the right side near Logan Village Drive, you'll see you might smell or see a sewer treatment plant. It's called the North City Water Treatment Plant, there on the left. That plant is one of two in the county that has the ability to treat water to tertiary levels of treatment. San Diego treats all of its sewage that's discharged into the ocean to advanced primary levels, not even secondary. This has the ability to treat it to tertiary levels, which means all the coliform, all the bacteria is killed, all the toxins are killed. They use reverse osmosis and ultraviolet light to do that. IPR basically is about taking water from that plant that's treated at tertiary levels, and instead of discharging it into the local creek or putting it back into the city sewer system and sending it out to Point Loma, just to put out in the ocean, have a pipe send it up to San Vicente Reservoir, where we saw that person riding a bicycle earlier. It's about a 20-mile long pipeline. That water would be injected into the reservoir, into the wetlands of the upper reaches, and sit in the reservoir for a year, and then be drawn out for potable drinking water.